one of Hawaii's most influential artists, an individual who has inspired countless students and artists to demonstrate aloha through various mediums of art, a filmmaker. I just don't know how much more I can say. Her name pretty much says it all. So we're so humbled and very excited at the same time to have Meleanna Meyer with us. So I'm going to turn the time over to her. Mahalo.
Hui, alamai kako peheoko. Where is everybody? I can't see you. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I hope I'm not. Hey, it's a pleasure to be with everyone. And if I could see you, I would want to run up and hug you. I think that's the big message for today. I know this has been really difficult for all of us. So I want you to imagine that we're all, hanging out together and going to be able to, ho'omalie and enjoy one another's company. So I have this time and it's such a privilege to be here. And I just want you to know that all of these presentations just rock. So I just want to mahalo every single one of my colleagues and my friends and ohana, in the sense of we are a team of educators that are really committed to changing the face of education in Hawaii. And I was just thinking about that, when I was thinking about ʻIʻini in 6th grade in 2004, it was actually 2000 that I called and said to Kū, do you guys have any arts planned for the school? Because this was kind of opening up. And she said, no, but I said, can I come up, and teach and work with the teachers? And so that's how long I've been able to love and be connected to that incredible kula that Kūkahakalau have really brought into the world. And they've all brought us up. In other words, all of you children, now that you are young adults, I see you everywhere. You do make a difference. You are precious to us. And as I began this little conversation about A'oaku and A'omai, I was telling my dear friend Mickey Maishiro that I teach because I love to learn. And the only problem with all that as a teacher is that I'm an artist, and artists don't really like to talk, but then if you teach, then you have to talk. So that is the issue here. But I'm going to try to get through this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the Hawaii Convention mural. It's the first piece of art created by Native Hawaiians in a place that is almost 25 years old. And it was not acceptable that none of our arts were presented there, because there are dozens of other artists and organizations. So we formed a hui, and we've actually worked in other places. And I'd like to honor my beloved Kumu also, Al Lagunero, Kahi Ching, Harinani Orm, Solomon Enos, and Carl Powell, because we've actually worked a lot together. And we have like a little mini school that goes to different places, and we do murals, and I get to be, as an artist in the schools, I also get to come out and do residencies at different schools. So check that site out, because it's really a fun one. And then artists get to come to your school. So that's cool too. Let me just tell you that so many of these youth are doing incredible things today. I'm really proud of them. Kupono Duncan, Corey Tom, wonderful Malia and Puni. This piece here is so profound for me because it's 64 feet by 10 feet, and it was intended to share with the world a Hawaiian worldview. So it has our Awamo Kuleana there. It has the deep Aina and ravines and of Kauai and the deep ocean from Hawaii Island. So it's got everything there. But most importantly, it's got spirit everywhere. Spirit traditions from the east and the west. It's got our kanaka everywhere in this piece. It's down at the convention center on the lower floor. It's 64 by 10 feet. So you guys have to know that all of this stuff happens, and it's by magic. I'm just kidding. It's a lot of hard work. But the alchemy of what Taupuri mentions often in Antipua, beloved Kumus, also, they talk about this alchemy of of creativity. So I have a question for each of you. It's really an important question for me to ask. I want to ask how many of you guys consider yourselves artists, okay? And maybe you can put that in the chat for me. So let's just take a moment, because what I want to affirm today and hope that you take away is this claiming that you, and if you don't think you're an artist, then claim that you're creative, because you need to do that. Because we need really viable, out of the box, inclusive answers that really will take us to different places now, because the world is in bad shape as we're struggling to get through not only COVID, but the crises of the planet in terms of care and degradation of resources and all of that. So please just know, when you see our work, wherever it is, Spirit always guides us. So in the chat, when you guys are thinking about, am I an artist? Do you cook? Are you a daydreamer? Are you someone who's an engineer who uses color pencils in a different way? I just want you to know that there's something that you do, and I know there is, that is creative, and that it will make a difference in the world. So that's what we talked about, this notion of new old wisdom. I know all these acronyms are kind of silly, but they're kind of fun, you know, and I really thought this was interesting speaking to our group when we worked on this mural, because all we're doing, and you've heard it repeated by many people today, we're bringing the old traditions back. We're revitalizing them. So just know, as you guys are answering that question, I want you to also say, what part of this this project are you involved in? Are you a cook? Because we need good cooks, by the way, because we all get hungry. Are you somebody kokua in the office? So everybody has kuleana. Is the planet alive? But we're all interconnected. So as you see this slide, what I want you to understand is, yes, I know my geography, and no, Hawaii's not that big in the middle of the planet like that. But I made it big because we're important to us, ourselves. So that notion of centrism is really important, because we're not US centric, we're Hawaii centric. Culture is important, has always been first and foremost in my work. So I'm always saying, you know what, it's not just culture-based education, it's culture and arts-based education, because art, the visual arts, are the concrete manifestation of culture. They're a demonstration of culture. They're an activation of culture. They're a reverence and an honoring for culture. So if you guys can see the importance of that, that would be really helpful to me as well, and to your children, by the way. You know, I want to tell you that I wasn't the best reader, and I'm terrible in math because I'm dyscalculic. I mix up my numbers, and people go, well, listen, you've kind of done a lot of things. It's just because I've never said to myself, I can't do that, because I'm a creative. That's why being a creative is so important. So I'm hoping that makes some sense to you guys. And also, I consider myself a storyteller. So that's really important as well. So as we take this story forward, I want to let you know that I reverence and honor our Kūpuna and all of our kumu, and our beloved land, and our beloved poe kanaka, and all of you out there who support ʻIke Hawaii, because without all of us doing the work together, we really couldn't go forward. And I just want to thank the mahiai, you know, the ones who are in the soil doing the good work. Because without each and every one of us in our talents and skill areas, we really wouldn't be able to move forward as a lahui. And I got to tell you, the information coming out from Kū folks with the Ea University, from Keanu Sai, from beloved Puakea folks, everyone. I mean, the list of folks today is just fantastic. So I'm glad we're all being recorded so we can listen to each other's good work. So if you have any questions too, save them for the end, okay? Also, you know what I'm learning too is that I'm learning to look out as well. So I'm understanding that what we're doing on paper is not enough. it has to become something that's embodied knowledge. So in other words, it's got to be something that becomes dimensional. So as I think about sharing all of this with you, and this slide is really fun for me, you're going to see work from Kamakau about Haloa Nakalau Kapalili on the left. You're going to see my buddy Solomon Enos's beautiful umeke to the right. You're going to see me, and I have my little umeke right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have the concrete thing. It was made by some beloved craftsman. And these things are important because they are concrete, they're real, they have taste, smell, and touch to them. And I dare say I'm going to put in a sixth sense, which is na'au, which is your insight and your intuition. So I just want you to know that we can do anything we need to do together. So this is actually where I come from. I come from Moko Kailua, Hekekio Kela Aina Ne Ko'olaupoko, Noho Mai no Kailua Mokapu, Me He Hamana Me Kaolelo Hawaii. I got so excited, I forgot to do my oli. So maybe I'll go do them at the end, okay? I was so excited. So you can see why visual artists really shouldn't be talking, but if you're a teacher, you got to. All right, so aren't those mountains the most beautiful things in the whole wide world? And Kamakau is back there in the valley. And it's breathtaking. I want you to notice Buckminster Fuller's piece on the left, because that piece, as flat as it is, if you were to print it and cut it out, it turns into a sphere. And the important thing about that is that's what I want our education to do. I want it to become animated. I want it to become dimensional. I want it to become active. And that Iini knocked it out of the park too today with her slides. I went, yeah, girl, if we don't know any better and just let our kids just have the fun that they need to have by being curious in our educational systems, then you're going to end up with these extraordinary beings everywhere. So I have to brag about all these students that I've worked with, whether it's the Baker Ohana. I mean, I have a huge long list of beloveds. So the question also today is, how do you see the world and your place in it? So maybe if we could take just a few moments and you guys could tell me what your gifts are that you have to offer. You know, and then also I have another question up there on the slide, and it says, what is your kuleana to this place? So if we could just take a few minutes as you guys write those things down and put them in the chat, that would be really wonderful, because I'd like to know, you know, as you guys are continuing that. I have to brag yet another time about my beloved friends and colleagues. Because we did this book, we've been writing this book for the last umpteen years, painfully and lovingly, and it's called Arting and Writing to Transform Education, an ecologically and culturally responsive approach to education. So I have to say, it was one of the most enriching experiences of my life, because we had to put all of this ʻIke into something. And besides our children, we thought it would be nice if it were a book. So, you know, 30 years of teaching, actually even longer. Did you know I've been teaching since I was 13? When I was 12, I wanted, you know, I was a rascal. So she said, oh God, I got to do something with you. So she got me a little kiln, and then I started playing with ceramics, and then she just left me alone in the garage, and she just said, just don't burn down the garage. I said, that's easy. We can handle that. And so the next year she said, okay, now you're going to teach. I said, Mom, I'm just a kid. But she actually said, but the children you're teaching are younger than you are. So it was kind of fun. So I've been teaching a lot longer than 30 years, because I have 65 candles in my journal to prove it. Anyway, I'm also a Kūpuna, in the sense of I have 4 mo'opuna that I'm very proud of, and you'll see a picture of them at the end of this presentation. But what you see on the screen now are just little cultural signifiers, which to me are very important. You know, this piece that one of the Hamana did at Kamakau, just to represent herself. She loves to paddle, loves the ocean, loves who she is culturally. And I put this silly these other things in here just because, you know, I love the way that color moved together. We did murals with wonderful Maili Naehu on Molokai, and we had a blast over there. So I just wanted to honor our work there. And then this is one of my little first Mo'o's hands. I did a paper cutout, which was really fun to share. And also, you know, everywhere where we are, we're related to somebody. So that's the way I feel about everyone in this meeting and everyone at this conference. We're kin to each other because we're deeply committed to education and to culture. And I was telling Mickey earlier that, hey, it's all about art because I'm an artist. So of course it's culture and arts, but I get that this is a conference on culture-based education, but just know the arts are in there because they're important to me. These wonderful children, look at you, that's Kala Domingo when he was in 2nd and 3rd grade, Makana Mahie, Mike Kalani, Wilhelm, everybody else. We were doing culture projects. So, you know, no more the supplies, but we just gessoed boxes. Show you what I learned. I learned that this is a scary sign for the United Nations because it's got this Greek, you know, it's not scary, but it kind of looks like a target. But I learned that, you know, this is for victory, right? And this sign over here that's supposed to mean peace is actually a sign that was co-opted in the 50s, and it was borrowed from the late 50s by an English artist. And I wanted to put here these 3 dots. I hope you can see these. This is the real peace sign, believe it or not. Because it's Tibetan and it's 4,000 years old. So I put it in there just to give you a conversation visually in terms of one of my sketchbooks, because I thought that was a really cool page. But just know that, you know, our indigenous brothers and sisters around the world, indigenous to their places and to their knowledge systems, are so deeply committed we are. So I just want to let you know, when I was talking about collections in that silly little description, I was really talking about collections of thoughts, of memories, of you know, of hair. So you see a piece to the far right, and this is a drum that you'll see later because I use that when I teach, which is really important. So I'm just going to carry on with my slides if that's okay. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll talk about that later, okay? I wanted to bring this up just because it was so cosmic for me. I always wondered about cycles and about infinity. So I Googled, of course, Missy Google, and I don't know if you guys can see the snake to the far right. What's beautiful about that is called an Ouroboros, and it's fantastic. It comes from Egypt. So this was just a page to share that this is a painting I did on the lower bottom that has to do with cycles of the moon and energy from the sun. And one of my beloved Kumu Keola Lake, I've been in his halau, and I just did a whole series of paintings that had to do with these oli. So that is actually kind of a large painting. It's like about 6 feet by 8 feet, so it's kind of beautiful. But this notion of infinity and forever and eternity is just so beautiful to me. Whether it's a spiral on a mural at Kaiau Garden, or paintings, or, you know, something in a journal, I just want you all to know that as creatives, we can do our work anywhere, whether you're pounding kapa, whether you're learning another new oli or creating an oli, whether you're singing and dancing. So just know that I hope today is really about claiming that voice in you, because that's really important. And you got the message, culture matters. And by the way, not only does culture matter, but I have a formula, I think, but sometimes, you know, the formula changes depending on how difficult the project is. You have to know, when we do murals together, we start, you know, start to finish, we do our pieces, our work. That 64-foot mural was done in a week's time. Now, that doesn't mean we just sort of showed up. We spent 6 months learning and talking to each other and exchanging sketches and meeting. But when we are in process, we're in process for a week, no matter if it's that mural or the one at, I'll show you, the Bishop Museum. There's another one here. Let's see. Oops. This is the most recent piece that we did. And there's my buddies over there. So these are questions I have for you in terms of culture. What is your home culture? Where do you identify? Indigenous or root culture, that's important that we honor wherever we are in terms of place. And our local cultures are really critical because those are the folks we interact with and that we exchange with and we have relationships with as well. And then global is like this crazy culture that's too big to even talk about. It scares me. So I just want you to know that, that's why culture is important also, is because it's complex. We need a lot of people to think about it and to kind of unpack it and tease it out. And so we can teach our children how best to be a part of the global culture, but most importantly, how to appreciate and love their home and indigenous culture. So I'm very proud of that, but I have so much to learn. So I'm really humbled by Olelo Hawaii. And when I was in school, for you young ones, we never had those options. So je parle français, isn't that silly? I mean, who needs to speak French in the Pacific except if you're in Tahiti or Noumea? But it's a good language, but I really love Olelo Hawaii, and without your language, you're really nothing. So that's why I'm making a big commitment. And mahalo you, Kumu, for being patient with us. This mural here, actually, you're going to love it because, again, the first side was done in a week's time, and the mural of the mo'olelo starts from right to left. So it starts in the kumulipo. You can't see that part. It's in the dark. And then our ki'i, kahiko, haloa nakalau kapalili, our Kūpuna and ancestral images, makaku, creativity and spirit in the middle because it centers us. We also have our traditions, our olelo, all of those protocols and things that we love. And this lele is something that is important to me because I've been going up with our halal since 1991 when Keola Ma, when our beloved Kumu, Keola Lake, went up to Pu'ukohola. So I made a film on that, and I'd love to share that film with you guys once I get my YouTube channel up, okay? So I'm just going to tell you, it's been always so great to see the family up there every year and to see all these other extraordinary people. And then this little boy is all these students in school now because he's the age of my grandson. He's 9 years old. And instead of a cape of feathers, it's a cape of innovation because that's what we all need these young ones to be eleu to. A big Kūpuna hand holding an avatar image. Far left. So that is an unformed image that the young ones need to complete and fashion themselves. So it's kind of an exciting thing. So you got to know this mural was created, and underneath this mural, I'll put that in the chat too. The assignment was to paint away pain. So we painted it away, and that's what happened. And then the young ones like Saul and Carl, they said, yeah, but we're not done with our pain yet. And I went, oh no, don't tell me that. So the bottom part of this red here, this red mural, it's a mural on the other side. So it's helping our young ones deal with historical and cultural trauma. So my whole life has been changed because of this project. I now know that it isn't just our grief and our problems, but it's actually a much larger discussion that has to do with universal pains and sorrow and loss. And we each in our own cultures have our own eha to deal with, but our stories are so much more important as well. So just to share this slide is so wonderful because it brings back all sorts of crazy memories. And the question of the slide and the day is, what have you done to contribute to the movement? Have you cooked dinners for your Kūpuna? Have you listened to their stories? Have you sewn lei? Have you picked up, a craft? Are you in lua? Are you practicing ho'oponopono? because that's going to make the difference in our community, is lifting our community up together, you know, and the skill sets that we have. So it's just wonderful to get involved. And life is a gift. So I thought, well, what the heck, you know, I'm going to just put beautiful things up that I like. It was to create work separately. Everybody worked in the other groups, but this group of Chinese students at Mid-Pacific, when I was teaching there, I was a director of visual arts. They took more time, but they subsumed all of their work under the kanji, and this is a Hanzi for love. So that was so deeply moving for me, because this is whole work here. This is embodied knowledge. And I put the heart up there because, you know, when you think about aku and mai, what's most important? How about both things? How about we use the word both and? Because that's what you need to understand. It isn't, you don't have to choose. It's not either or. We need everything to make the world go round. This is a dream drawing, and then that turned into a painting, which is really exciting. So Kamakal comes through again with these incredibly beautiful pieces. I just wanted to take a moment and just say, you know, thank God all knowledge doesn't come from one school, yeah? And this whole notion of arting and writing and education came up with a nice acronym, and it's AW. So I love that too. So just know that as you create in your daily life, all of these things need to be purposeful. You know, they just can't be frivolous, because we're not in a time of frivolity anyway. And then this wonderful woman who is a brilliant artist, she says here, this moment contains the fullness of all moments. Nothing else is needed. So her name was Corita Kent, and I call her a Kumu because I love her work. And it really is important to me to share ʻIke from others, you know. So that Chinese piece rocked my world. That was like an aha transformative moment when those kids put this piece together, because they were asked to also draw their mountain, something cultural that they could identify with, and a pattern or an element that they identified with. So that was profound. These pieces are extraordinary, because this piece up here, the Kuahu'ula, is, again, an expression of our worldview. And it's extraordinary because I got to I get to do these fun things like create a world. That's only half the world, right? But it's at Camp Mokuleia, and it was in the chapel. So I got a little kickback for that, because, you know, a Christian chapel, don't get me wrong, I'm a practicing Christian, but I'm also one who's lived with Buddhists and studied Hindu religion, and most importantly, our own animist religion, our deeply spiritually grounded religion in terms of ʻIke Hawaii. So that was a really fun project that invites our ʻIke Kūpuna, in the sense of na piko e kolu. You can see the 3 piko there. You can see our beautiful he'e. You can see our anela turning into a bird on the far left. It was really a spectacular piece. By the way, this piece was done only really in 5 days. So it's breathtaking and exhausting to do this kind of work. The lower piece that you see is also, it's called Anu'unu'ukaʻike. Thank you, Puakea, for helping name that. And it has to do with these different levels of wisdom. This is the first piece we did that was 3-dimensional. So it was kind of extraordinary to experience that with about 20 youngsters in a period of a weekend. And then they left, and then we had our alaka'i help us. We had a fabulous group of alaka'i, about 6, 7, 8 of them. When they left, we had 4 days to finish this mural, and it's at the Bishop Museum in the Pacific Hall, and it's just breathtakingly beautiful. I thought I'd share that. And ho'ailona are not only signs and symbols, but there are also markers for who we are. So these pieces have great stories. I don't know if I have enough time to share them, probably not. So I'm just going to keep going forward. Oh, and let me just share that the piece to the far right on top was done by a beautiful class in Hilo. And these are just collage pieces. So I want you to see that the world is so beautiful from all of our cultural vantage points. And of course, Mauna Kea, E Ola Mau. I put the video link on there. It's a 10-minute documentary that I got to do during COVID, which was really fun because it's like, okay, I don't have anything else to do. I better do something. So I was able to work with beloved colleagues to do this documentary, and I'd share that with you because it was actually given as a gift to the Kia'i. It was offered as a gift to Auntie Puama, Auntie Noi Noi, and everyone else who've been up there on the mountain. Because again, I couldn't do what they did up there. So what could I do? I could make a film, you know, and I could work with incredible people and get this done. So that's what I did. So that's a little Mauna symbol from my sketchbook. Okay. Is it perfect colors? No. Is it significant about what it says? Yes. So just don't get caught up in the little things. Go to the emotion and the depth and the knowledge of place and understanding of practice. That's really important to me. And there they are. They're some of my teachers. You know, I love our beloved queen. She's first and foremost, being that my auntie Aima Navahi was part of this Aloha Aina movement. I can't help but feel, and Joseph Navahi, I can't help but feel a kuleana to them. So just know that, you know, I have kuleana and I daily think about that and mahalo not only them, but our deep culture, because it's such a rich, extraordinary energy to tap into. And I'm learning my oli. Kuma was very, very patient with me. Halimakua was very helpful, deeply so, in the protocols and understanding it. Pukohola, and you know, people go, how come you make books and how is it that you do films? I just do things because I love to do them. And you know, the films aren't being done about my aunt, Auntie Aima, so I made a film called Puamana. You know, films aren't being made by such and such for our own people. I'm going to do the best I can to do that. So these are my favorite teachers, some of them, and these are my boys over here, Jay and Jeff. And they are the ones that have really taught me patience and forgiveness and kindness and respect and fortitude. And these are my grandchildren. There's one little baby over there, and there's another little guy named Staden. He's over here, this beautiful beloved being, and Scarlett, Axel, and beloved Evie. And my family, my father just passed, so we were all getting together. So you guys need to see that we have to share this part because this is who we are. And I do see the world in crisis, so I don't want to make it like sugar-coated or anything. So we have work to do, and there's that beautiful timer, you know, the Scrabble timer. We're at the end of the conversation, so we gotta jump in there and be radical in our thinking. So I also wanted you to see, we're almost at the end, we have 2 more slides, that there's that peace sign again. And you know, I didn't get a chance, I don't think, to let you know what those 3 dots mean. They mean to me balance, and they mean story, they mean pono, but it's art, science, and spirituality. So that keeps us in balance, knowing and understanding and practicing all those things. And you know, this piece up here with the little earth and the heart, that was done in a kindergarten class with parents. So I just wanted them to know that we love the earth. So there's a lot of love with green. And then, you know, we're centric here in Hawaii. We love it. And then we could put it all together and it makes a story. It's a very simple story, but it's an important one. And my mom, I have to give her credit, and my dad, but my mom, because she was the one that just supported me being creative. And she knew I needed to do something, because I was one of those Kolohe kids that really needed to have some focus, which I still need, which is why I love to be in the class, because it's humbling and I get to learn from the children. And the question here then is, how alive are you willing to be? And I saw that on the sidewalk in San Francisco, and I just think about that almost daily. How committed are you to solving problems? How committed are you to forgiving yourself, to making a difference? How committed are you to to being responsible for the planet. So we have a lot of work to do, you know. So I just really want you to know that this cool word down there that I borrowed, the sticker, it has my 3 favorite words. It has earth, heart, and art in all there. So it's like this big cosmic bumper sticker that I just think we should all have on the back of our you know, our cars or trucks. So a friend of mine did say, okay, well, give some ideas for the keiki to try out. So I did a couple of little things. This is, I think, the last slide. So I just said, hey, you know, do portraits. Try one yourself, because then your keikis will want to try one also. And it's a lot of fun. All you got to do is get a mirror and practice, okay? And making mini books. Maybe we'll get to the mini books in a second, but I use them all the time for my tools. Am I supposed to hold it up? Do you see that? Anyway, those are just sketches. So see the list. If you guys want that list, we can put it in the chat for you. These are things that I use every day. So you can see pukola, the lele in the middle in the early morning at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And this is what I mean by collections. You see that beautiful bunch of shells and wood and sticks and beans. So this is a collection kind of like of my world and my life. So as you guys, you know, I thank you for spending time with me and allowing me to share some visual images that that move me, that mean something to me. So I don't know. I think it's. I really want to have you guys ask questions and stuff. I think that's the last slide. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to leave this slide up there so that you guys can. I don't know if I can make it big again.
Because we could even have you stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
So we have your face out in the middle. And then we
Okay.
can ask for participants to ask questions.
Okay, to share this book with you, and I'll whoever wants, I'll send a copy of this to you so you can print it up. This is one of my books on the environment. So this spread is about the universe and our place in it, and it's a conversation. This is a spread that talks about our 6 senses. This is a spread that talks about the elements that I'm related to, that I feel Piliana to. And then this is a page about the environment. You know, parts per million, we're supposed to be at under 350. We've already surpassed that at 420. But this is a really sad page. But altogether, it's a conversation. So I want you guys to see how this tool works, okay? And that's what I want you to see, that there's something extraordinary about each of us because we're telling stories to each other. Because I'm really just a storyteller, okay? So write this down too. I did a little formula. So my notes are scary because they kind of look like this. I wrote talent is 10% of the equation. 10% is, 20% is talent. 10% is skill, so that's 30%. Hard work and practice is 40%. Desire or i'ini or passion to make a difference is 20%, and luck is 5%. Because you have to kind of have some of that in there, and that all equals this big formula of being creative to me. So you write that down. Anyone have any questions you want to ask? Because I have lots of things to share. So help me out, you guys.
Hi, Meleanna.
Hi, who's that?
No hair. I have a question. Because my daughter,
Yeah.
she loves art. She's 5 years old. So I kind
Yay.
of know what was the most supportive thing your mother did to help you grow your love and passion for art.
I'm so glad you asked that, because people ask me that all the time. And you know what? She just gave me the opportunity to be outside in nature, like all of our beloved children know, to connect to the clouds, to talk to the trees, and not to make me feel strange about that. And then she gave me paper and pencils, and then she had these couple art people come over and teach me some things, and that was really important. And then nobody told me, no, you can't do something. So I always thought, well, okay, then I'm going to try it. So if you could just be supportive with your keiki and just, help them make these little books so that they could feel like, oh, wow, I'm making a book. Can I tell you a story? It's that simple. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. And I realized, I love children so much because I'm a big kid myself. So just know that we don't ever really have to grow up, but we just have to get more responsible. So your 5-year-old will teach you everything you need to know because they are perfection. And don't get this wrong, teachers, because here it comes. And then we send them to school. I know that's a heavy thing to say, but I spent most of my life unlearning all the things, unlearning to be competitive, hyper-competitive, hypercritical, hyper this, hyper that, because we're in systems that don't fit us. So that's why when Kū talks about AI University and doing our own work with our charter schools and beloved Kehau, Abad, and all the things that Waihona is doing and Kanaio Kana, the work that's going on in our community today rocks. It's so profound. So all we need to do is get our keiki to places that will allow them to be who they are. Your little 5-year-old, let her draw or let him draw. I was one of those kids that couldn't sit still, so I drew in class all the time. And instead of teachers telling me, don't do that, we're going to send you detention. Okay, continue, but just don't bother anybody. So I was good with that. You know what I mean? So I want you to know that these things are important because we value them. Culturally, I value someone's insights. I value dreams, moi, uhane that come to me and talk. And you don't have to be afraid of things culturally. So these little ones are so precious. They are our future. And I'm just so excited because I know we can make a difference just by supporting our young ones. So thank you. That was a good question. It was a long answer. Anybody else have anything they want to?
Beginning kapa maker, and I was wondering if you ever have the kids make the books out of kapa or using ohi kapalas or
ohi kapalas. Ohi kapala would be great, but you don't want to use your you don't want to use your kapa. That's like precious and valuable. That's for our iwi Kūpuna that I've painted on kapa, and it's just beautiful. But I can tell you the thing about right materials, it's important because you can kind of make a soft book, but I wouldn't do that. I would just use old oak tag, So when you make books, you're making it out of this stuff. You're making it out of these old things that are like folders. You're making it out of just oak tag, So this is a cool thing. So I want you guys to see you can practice and you can do all sorts of things here, which I really love this format. This has worked really well, and I had to come up with that a while back, just recently. But this is a finished piece, okay? So the cool thing is you can get to that point, but this is where you start, right? That's a big card. So I want you to know that these books and these little practices are important for that reason, So, and by the way, this thing is, this is 20 by 6 feet, so it's enormous. But just having this little thing here is cool because I can show you. Okay, and then in terms of kapa, just find good teachers. Because Auntie Marie McDonald, she wasn't my kumu per se, but a beloved elder who really inspired me.
With Ibello.
Yeah, awesome.
And we're making for the iwi Kūpuna, but we also have some scraps of not so good kind that we were learning. So
yeah, so you know what? Use those as bookmarkers. Use them as you can stitch them together. They're beautiful.
We're making earrings too.
Yeah,
making jewelry.
That's beautiful.
Little pieces, beautiful. But I just think connecting the keiki with those practices and materials is really wonderful.
Make stencils because stencils work really well with these books. Oh my God, you can do so many things with these books. This is a COVID book. Are you ready for a COVID book? I might as well share this with you because this was fun. this was like a half shape, and we just did this, Mickey and I and Anna, on a workshop, and then I had the folks do a COVID thing. It's really sad, but it was pretty heavy because people get a chance to like download their thoughts and feelings. So you're arting and writing at the same time. Oh, by the way, there's arting because writers have writing, okay? So artists need arting. That's just how it happened. And then from the COVID, you know, this is how you express things. We had to go to that circle. We're keeping in that circle, the circular, you know, to sphere. So this is the sun heating all of us and healing us and being radiant. And then this is our vision for the future. How can we go forward together? And then, you know, as a book, it's a pretty cosmic book. So I want you guys to please feel free to use that idea so you guys can talk, so we can talk to each other. And then, you know, we can build things together. I don't know. I'm up for some radical partnerships. So just know that. Yeah. And I appreciate where you guys are coming from too, because I know, you know, as parents, bless you all, the parents that you are, because I know the good work that you're all doing. And without parents, without beloved moms and dads, where would our children be? You know, so just know, none of us have to be statistics. We just have to be, you know, gut things out and be determined. Because I was one of those, you know, single moms, 2 kids, widowed at 26. And the reason I'm telling you that story is because had I not been an artist, I don't think I would have made it. I wouldn't have made it. I really, really, really wouldn't have, because it taught me how to be resilient. It taught me how to problem solve. It taught me to be flexible and open. And all the skills we need for today are what art teaches you. So just remember that. It's really deep stuff. It's very deep stuff. And I don't even know how much time. I guess we're almost at the end. Does anyone else have any like burning questions they want to ask? This is a cool book, so just go check it out. This has got all of these pictures in the book, almost. It's kind of cool. And I don't know, I'm so excited, but you want to see the drum? I brought the drum. So there it is. See? Because what it is, you got to embrace the culture. Whatever it is, you got to embrace the culture. You got to bring your best self forward. And, you know, I just mahalo kia kua. So can we all just do uhola ia together? That would be so cool. I know it's kind of corny, but I like it. And I think it's really important. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Okay. But we have any more questions? Anybody? You're making it easy for me then, right? Okay. All right. I hope this has been fun for you guys, because it's just my life, you know. And I gave the link for the film. And anybody wants to do some curriculum on Mauna Kea, let me know, because I'd like to do that. And I'm really technologically challenged. So I think we're almost at the end, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of getting down there. Did we have one more question? I don't know if I heard somebody else.
Yeah, there's one more question.
I think we have time for one more question.
Okay. Who is it?
5 minutes. Who is it? I just heard a voice.
Aloha. I can't see myself. I just have a comment. It's not a question.
Okay.
I just want to mahalo ko Meleanna. I'm a parent of 3 keiki who went to Kamako, and he was a mentor to them. They are now 26, 23, and 17. They are now EAs at Kamako, Kekula Kamako, and the fruition to see all her Meleanna's hard work, her desire, everything that she put forth into our keiki has been a beautiful work of art in itself. She lives through our children, the children live through her, and it's the reciprocation of the love and the life through her blessing and her talent, which is her art. So I just wanted to mahalo her for my keiki.
Bless you, my dear. Ovai koinoa.
O kapua ni ko inoa, mai ka ohano o Mac Elroy.
Okay.
I know Lena ala kumulina ala also. All these familiar.
I love it. I love it, because we are all connected. It's just incredible, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful to see everybody on the streets, or, you know, in a library or at the grocery store, and go, yeah, my ka'i mahalo kia kua. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, it's nice to see the fruition, the product of
Yeah.
all the rearing and the everybody's hands who came in to help our keiki learn and grow. Mahalo, mahalo.
Mahalo, ya oi, Tita. Mahalo. One more question, Michelle. Hello, Tita.
I too wanted, like, Ohana McElroy, you know, I really appreciate having art in our Ohana. I have a sped son and he's an adult. And Lamaku's work with you in science and arting and writing really helped create an alternative way for us to see so many levels of akamai that we may not see in a regular school. And we talk about this a lot. And now my son is he's older, he's 24, and you know, there's no telehealth, but it's the arting, I think, that saves us, but saves him. It keeps him engaged. It's just now brother won't do any other thing but watercolor. So I kind of need him to do something else because we have tons of Pippa. But just to really mahalo you and your team, you know, honor them, all you folks, and Mickey for creating small little projects that's not about perfection, but it fills our na'au in ways that I don't know that the Western ways of education actually do that and honor that. So mahalo nui, mahalo nui.
He mea iki nauka haoli, and for the three of us in this book and the work we do, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I just love what I do, and I'm just so grateful to you parents because you give us a chance. And all these different programs, I've worked just about everywhere, and it's because I really care so much, and I'm so grateful. So mahalo for sharing, Tita. Hey, by the way, I want to do something up in Papakolea. So I'm going to go talk to the T's up there. So we might just do something like, you know, I have to check it out. But if anyone's interested, put your name in the chat, Kay, because when we do that, it'll be, you know, groups of kids, but it'll be, you know, maybe 6 to 8. Anyway, it's just something I want to do during this COVID time because I'm going crazy myself. You should see. I mean, you know, seriously, I'm gaining weight here. Anyway, thank you all. We're all set.
I think we are. Mahalo nui loa e Meleanna. Thank you so much for sharing your ʻike today. And you really
Uhola ia ka makaloala. Hua ʻike aloha.
Kuka
ia ka haloala. Pawehi mai la lehua. Mai o ku ia na hala mahalo e ai kua. Mahalo e na Kūpuna la ea. Mahalo me ke aloha. Mahalo me ke aloha. Mahalo.
Love you all. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.
Mahalo nui Meleanna. Can everybody like show your cameras and let's all give Meleanna
Yay!
a round of applause.
This
my friend.
so bad. Love you guys. Love you. Mahalo. Ahui ho.